Yeah, Blue Beetle seems to be.
Mark ain't saying shit. I'm gonna do the intro so y'all safe. Mark was like, "Fuck it, I was just gonna type it in." Okay.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Oh my
Yes, Mister
God,
Sick
he's actually
Buddy.
here.
I ain't get to see that movie yet, so I can't even speak about it.
It's so good. It is.
Did-
It is a work of
Chris?
art, man.
Chris, did
Yeah.
you go get my D20 like I asked?
Yeah, I totally got it.
Well, it's got to hold all
fuck
my
is it?
popcorn.
Yeah.
What's a
That-
D20?
It's like my buddy Smarty was talking about it last night. Apparently they're selling like massive D20s at the Dungeons and Dragons movie.
Oh, I'm not
Theaters.
interested in that.
I've heard it's
I'm
I've heard
not.
it's great.
Ain't
Smart
Dungeons and
too.
Dragons Hasbro?
Yeah, they're the people that's a video game. I mean, game company that's making movies
I swear
now.
Dungeons and Dragons used to be a fucking show.
Mhm.
I don't know. I'm not interested in seeing
Well, it's
that.
too
I
many
even
them damn dragon shows around here. Shit, fuck, I
it
can't keep up
is.
with it.
It is.
I
And I
just want
love me some what's her name? Michelle Rodriguez.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Um,
She
Anywho, you
she wears
guys.
the shit out of the boiled leather, I'll say that.
Facts.
Yeah. Oh, and I just before we start, I saw Scream 6 last night. Pretty damn good, honestly.
Yes, you see any eggs on that bitch? Like from the
Oh yeah.
older movies?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I
Yeah.
I think it's sad that we didn't get Sydney back because of like a pay dispute of all things, but the franchise has got to carry itself without her at some point. Got to let the
Yeah.
lady live her life.
Yeah. But the way she needs to live her life is the way we need to start this intro. So welcome to another episode of the Global Nerdz Podcast. I am your host D, joined by the other fellows of the podcast. So anyway, yeah, let's start the show with no more random intros, I guess.
we have too much fun with our random intros.
But yeah, first topic, man. Blue Beetle has its trailer dropping tomorrow, which will be the 3rd, April 3rd. Yeah. So y'all excited? Y'all don't care. It's DC, so it felt like, oh, the trailer may be delicious. Like Black Adam trailer was good, and then the movie came out and it wasn't like I wasted my money. So
Wait,
how y'all feel?
and the blue beetle is the one from the dude from the Cobra Kai, right? That dude playing Cobra Kai plays
Sholo
Blue Beetle.
Maranduena, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, I'm excited then. Shit, I'm gonna see that because he playing Cobra Kai. Yeah.
Same, I want to support him.
Oh, okay. I'm just interested in the story of Blue Beetle.
Oh,
I
you
like
still
Blue
ain't watched
Beetle from the
Cobra Kai
comics.
yet?
I sure have not.
Oh shit, that's all
I
you
don't
need
think
to
I
know.
am. I'm not watching that either.
I know you well enough to know that you'll
What?
love it. Trust me,
What?
bro. You'll
Yo,
love
they
it.
got at least before the new season grade come out, man. Come on, you gotta love it. If you love Power Rangers, you'll love this one. All right, I said they really raw with it. They like rated R with the Power Rangers. So, all right, we're out the morphin.
I don't
So
know,
I'm gonna
man.
say it, and I'll be optimistic and I'll watch it at least once. But it's a DC movie. We all know DC live action movies are crap at the moment. So if they're leading up to Teen Titans or Titans, whatever they want to go with, fine, fine. Please do Blue Beetle. I thought he was an interesting character in the comics. In the
Mhm.
animated movies, he had a really interesting side story. But once again, don't ruin live action movies for us, please, DC.
I'm ready for it. Like I said, I like the character, but shit, it's DC. They don't have a good track record. Like I don't have trust in their films anymore.
Same here.
Mm.
It'd be interesting to know how it's going to kind of fit in. Is it going to be the whole brand new stuff, or is it like the dregs and then suddenly when Flashpoint comes in, Blue Beetle doesn't exist anymore?
Yeah, that is a very good point too. I didn't even think about Flashpoint Paradox.
Well, yeah, So it's kind of like, do we watch the movie or do we not care? It's gonna be like Days of Future Past, like it just erases everything.
Mm.
But anyway, I guess that's that for that topic, huh?
done and done really quickly.
The next one, we got E3 news being canceled for 2023, which was canceled in 2022 and also canceled in 2021, 2020. Is E3 ever going to make a comeback?
It's just dead.
Yeah, I don't
It's
think
dead.
it will.
It's like the
no.
Game Awards. It should not have been done.
Yes. Yeah.
More people are interested in the trailers of the games than the actual event.
I mean, well, it could be done well. The thing is, everyone has their own separate shows or showcases. You know, Nintendo has their Direct, PlayStation has their Play, Microsoft has their Xbox showcase, and so on and so forth. So it's kind of like you don't really need a group thing unless it's the way they do it, where you guys have so many incentives to show up to an E3 or to the Game Awards because you guys could show exclusive things there. But again, it's kind of defeating the purpose when you could do it your damn self. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Pretty much on the way.
I'm good if this is the end, and honestly, it's looking like it is. I'm gonna miss E3. I loved it. I really wanted to go, and yeah. Anybody else realizing that they're never gonna get to go? Probably.
Yeah.
It sucks, man.
I've already been.
Good
Twice.
Good for you, man. Good for you.
They had one of the biggest trolls I've seen. Oh, I mean, well, it's probably not the biggest trolls. So when Devil May Cry 2 or 3 came out, they had it at the booth, and it was just like 20 minutes until the biggest news in the world, and everyone like would gather around, and as soon as it hit the 0 timer, it would just have the name, and then that's it, and then it would start the countdown again, and people were pissed off. But I was like, do you know what? That's actually not too bad. But I enjoyed it when I was there. I liked picking up all the free shit that they gave. Like, my theory was you could walk in half naked and come out clothed for the entire year with all the amount of free shit that they would throw for you. I think one of the biggest downsides is that they charged way too much money to kind of even get into the event, and you had to be either in the industry, studying the industry, or you only could do certain things. But to get in was extortionate, like maybe like $600-700 just for like a day or something like that. But I can't remember everything. I'm gonna have a cheeky look back to see how much like prices were back in the day. But yeah, like I think they closed it off to a lot of people. Then when they did open it to people, everyone got really pissed off, and it was just like, if you had the chance, the question to you guys, would you pay $500 for an entire weekend at E3?
Yes.
If I had
I'm tell you,
no.
That's
I would.
No.
And I'm gonna tell you why. If it had like exclusive gameplay where we could play like the full game and stuff before it comes out, we get access to a game like a year earlier or something like that, just to help through the beta testing or whatever. And they had like food and hell, they had music artists coming there to perform or whatever. Like the Game Awards, that had Halsey there performing a demonic song for Diablo, like shit like that. You know what I mean? I would go because it would be like an experience. It'd be like Coachella, but for video games. And I don't think they have that anymore.
Well, I mean, pretty much like all the stuff that they had was you'd get to play demos of machines, any new hardware that would come out. So like when I went, it was when the DS was dropping. So they were like, come and play the DS. Like you can play the first 5 minutes of this game to see what it's like. They had like there was tons of stuff to do. Like it wasn't a boring event. Like you picking up limited edition stuff. Like they do like say like if like collected Disney trophies or whatnot or whatever, they would have exclusive stuff that you could only get at E3, and then you could get press packs and stuff like that. So you could get like a ton of stuff for it. I don't know what it's like now because I haven't been for such a long time, but I would wholeheartedly go every single time if I could. But now I think it's completely dead. Like, I generally think that there will not be another E3.
That is crazy.
A lot of good moments to remember it by, though. A lot of breathtaking moments, one could say.
Oh, there's tons. And that's what I'm grateful for like how much great stuff that's happened from it.
Oh, yeah.
I just feel like no one will ever get to experience something like that again, or E3 will come back in about what, like 5-10 years or something, and
I hope
everyone
so.
will get it.
I mean, you guys literally have that memory with you forever. So I mean, even though it's over, it left this mark because everyone who hasn't even been, but everyone knows about E3, and maybe they can come back revamp next year to have, at the center to make these game companies and developers show what what could they offer Sony and Nintendo to make them want to come show some exclusive content with them at E3 instead of their own platforms. Like, what can you offer them? Maybe like I don't even know what can they offer these companies. It's not money. It's not exposure. So I mean, it's kind of like, what can you offer?
Exactly. There's a lot of ways to. You got YouTubers now. You got people or companies sending their games free to playtesters.
Exactly.
I think it's such a hard thing to get people there, because I know like one of the biggest things in the world was booth babes, where it was a way that each company would hire like models to come work for them to promote their games. And I know like years and years ago there was a massive outroar for it. They were saying, "Oh, you can't have booth babes. You can't be selling sex. So what happens if the kids are there?" And it's like, bitch, kids at E3. I'm sorry, which are you paying like $1,000 for their ticket to get in? No. But then there was other problems, like they were saying like, oh, girls would be doing this and stuff like that, and it had a huge impact. And then like they said, like the next year when they said no to them, all the like everyone was just like, E3 is boring as shit now. There's nothing here anymore. And then I think they brought them back in the end or something. It was a very weird thing, but for people to kind of come back, I think in a way, when I was looking at like, everyone pulling out, imagine if like you were Sony or Microsoft and you went, no one's here, fuck it, let's just put on a show, and more people have eyes on your product than like say Sony or anyone else could come along, and you kind of maybe get an advantage. But again, what money is a big thing. Like if you're going to have if you're spending how much money on it, it's just going to be silly. So again, I don't know how you'd be able to do it.
I think just making it since it's E3, how many days do it last? Is it like a week or
I think it's
a
a
one
week.
day thing? Okay. For that week, I would have people come out to be like, okay, we're gonna have tournaments. So it's going to be direct competition to Evo, because Evo is the biggest video game competition out there. So if this is E3 and you want to make a comeback, make you guys the big tournament house for that week.
Oh, yeah.
And you guys win exclusive things. That would definitely bring Sony, Nintendo, Microsoft, those are big three games out there, to come back to your show to show off their content, to show off new gameplay mechanics that they have, and then hosting tournaments for their exclusive games like Mortal Kombat 11 tournament plus a Mortal Kombat 12 show off. You know what I mean? Stuff like that.
Yeah.
I would have artists. I would show off video games, movies. I would show off the Mario movie. Like, yo, we got to get this early, just exclusive for our E3 people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I would do it big.
So I've just had a quick look online, and sorry, it's normally like a weekend. So let's say it's like 2 to 3 days.
Even better. You only get 3 days to watch the Mario movie before it comes out. We're gonna showcase the new Blue Beetle movie. You're gonna come here. We're gonna have a tournament, Mortal Kombat 11 tournament, and if you win, whatever the top 5 players, you're gonna come out and get exclusive hands-on with Mortal Kombat 12. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. Like, you got to be at E3 to see these things. You can't see Mario unless you show up to E3. You know what I mean? Like, I would do that.
Yeah, it's all good. Yeah, I like it. I like the fact that it's something different. But now I just don't think anything like that would ever, like, if they did it, I don't think that they would be able to do it again. But then you'd have like I think other companies turning around saying like, was it San Diego? Like I think they'd kick in. But then I'm wondering if they're going to take the same sort of route with that. Like, will they just drop it because again, showcase at home? But I like the idea of saying, come down for a tournament. Have this. Like you can play this, or we'll fly you out to a next one or whatever. I like those ideas. I just don't know why they haven't implemented them for such a long time.
Because everyone else has been doing it for their own thing, like Sony. I know for sure Mortal Kombat folks, Microsoft or whatever, been flying out all the Mortal Kombat YouTubers and gamers out there and take them to their own events for just Mortal Kombat. That's just a singular game instead of like a company. So I do know that stuff happens. And they give them like exclusive figures, merch, gameplay, and they get to pretty much show the world like Mortal Kombat 12 before it happens. So I'm pretty sure before the general public knows it, the insiders who are these Mortal Kombat fanatics and fans who've been invited already played the game and already know what's going on with it. You know what I mean? So E3, you kind of don't need it anymore. But I'm going to miss it. It was definitely an era, kind of like G4 Network. Y'all remember that G4 TV where we had X-Play and Attack of the Show? Like, I miss them things.
Of course, there was some shady stuff going on at E3 apparently.
There's always shady shit stuff. Like I would be very surprised if there wasn't, considering how much like there would be at like say what they would do. It's it was the biggest gaming convention in the world. So
right.
I know there's going to probably be some really shady shit that's gone down. I think it's a given, which is shit. It shouldn't happen, but I see the reason why and stuff like that.
Yeah. Anywho, pouring one out for E3, y'all.
Respect to them for calling it like it was and closing the curtains, though.
Yeah, I see it coming back in like 5 years' time.
I hope so. I hope so.
I don't know. Moving on from E3, kind of like the world is. And staying in the game, though, Tekken 8, if you guys are interested about fighting games, Tekken 8 is like that. The top tier, man, is up there. And we got some characters that's just released. Of course, Asuka is back. We got Leroy. Now, granted, I never really played with Leroy. I didn't like him in Tekken 7. I still was maining Nina Williams. That's still my bitch at heart. I don't care what nobody say. Nina Williams is always going to be the core player for me. But y'all excited for Tekken or no?
I haven't played it
Always.
for a very long time.
I haven't played it yet, but I like to play it though. Just for the hell of it. Back in the day, you had to pay 50 cents to play Tekken on the damn mall.
Y'all is lame, man. Tekken 7 is out. Y'all could play that like right now.
I ain't got, man. On what? PlayStation and Xbox? No, I ain't even got that yet. I still got my 360. I still got my 360, man.
Oh, yeah. You can't be a part of this conversation. What is going on with you, brother, man?
Man, I'm sorry, man.
We on what? PlayStation 5, PlayStation 6 about to come out. You got to catch up.
Oh, I did catch up. I used to go to my homeboy's house, play PS5 all the time. That's how I was playing Grand Theft Auto 6.
Grand Theft Auto 7. Need to hurry up and drop. That's just a sidebar.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying that's what I was doing, playing the joint live.
Right.
Yeah, but I did play though when that time came out. But I haven't played Tekken in a while since the Dreamcast. I mean, not the Dreamcast, the Saturn.
I mean, come on, y'all. It's Tekken. Like we had 2 films come out. Granted, they was horrible. No one ever talks about the Tekken live action films because they was just bad.
Wait, they got a lot? What?
Boy, they had 2 live action movies. Tekken.
Oh yeah, it was garbage though.
Yeah, it we don't want to talk about that.
It was like Street Fighter, low budget movie.
This movie was so low budget, I swear Bat in the Sun made it. It
You would think DC
was
did
bad.
it. That's how bad it was. You would think DC did that film.
So DC wrote and Bat in the Sun made it.
Oh yeah.
But their animated shows are actually the best. They had 2 or 3 animated films that was out, and they also just had a Netflix miniseries on Netflix, following Jin Kazuya and him entering the next King of Iron Fist tournament, and it was actually really good. I was interested in that whole little show. It's like only 8 episodes. You guys can catch up on Netflix now. But
What's it called?
Tekken on
Oh,
Netflix.
oh shit. Oh, I thought it was a different movie. You talking about that? Oh, okay. Never
No,
mind.
no, no. It's the newest animated show on Netflix. But Tekken is very, very big, y'all. It's big. It's rivaling up there with like Mortal Kombat. You know what I mean? They have movies, TV shows, comic books, video games itself. I mean, it's just a beast of its own. So I'm like the only one in this corner that's super excited for it because I've been playing since Tekken, the very first one. Okay, when they look like little blocks hitting each other. I missed
You playing the Minecraft version, huh?
exactly.
Damn.
Tekken 1, Tekken 2, Tekken 3,
Damn.
Tekken Tag, Tekken 4, Tekken 5, Tekken Tag Tournament 6, Tekken 7,
Yeah,
Tekken now,
Tekken's all
Tekken
you,
8.
man. All you.
And
No more
So he
combat.
definitely
That's a
likes the
different level.
puzzle Tekken.
You play the Minecraft version of Tekken too.
yeah, it was just great.
It's like
But
before
anyway,
Minecraft, it was Tekken.
it was. They was little blocks, man. I missed it.
That must be Lego's first game they ever came out with.
The way you clowning Tekken in his graphics, you about to get muted. We're not about to do that.
Oh, that's messed up.
But it seems like I'm the only one excited about Tekken 8, so I guess we're gonna move on to the next topic because y'all are being real
I'm
shady.
down. I'm down for Tekken 8, man.
I don't like many fighters anymore. I can't play the 2D or 3D fighters.
Y'all are so
It's
lame.
definitely okay. Fighting games like have a learning curve to them, but they're worth the effort, man, because they are so fucking fun. And Tekken's got some of the best ones out there.
All right, so the last time I played Tekken, right, is when the fighting skills, like the buttons switch around on you all the time. Every time you play them, I do know that.
Yeah, but it's dynamic.
It is.
I mean, like you can always come back never knowing what to expect. Honestly, the one bummer is, but this is a reason to get in on this as soon as possible. When the online, like when enough time has passed, like these games are like all the online community. Once that goes, the game's pretty much dead.
Pretty much. Like Dead or Alive 6, I'm again another fan of Dead or Alive franchise. But the 6 was just it changed the mechanics so bad for the worse, I should say. It lost its fan base. I tried to go online, play some online matches. I literally played the same 6 people for like 3 hours at one time. It was like the exact same 6 people. It's like, well, I'm done with this game. Which sucks because I love Dead or Alive as well. But yeah. Y'all don't give a damn about it. Y'all suck. Moving on to our next topic. Something y'all really want to talk about, I know for sure. Amy Jo Johnson, the original Pink Ranger, everyone's lovely sweetheart, is coming out with her own anniversary for the 30th in comic book form. Granted, she has been working on this for like 3 years. She spoke about this, years ago. But it's finally coming to fruition with Boom Studios. Are you guys excited for Miss Pink Ranger herself?
I just don't get why everyone's so angry at her. I've missed out on the drama.
I don't think so. Okay, I'll feel like I can see why some people are annoyed at her. It's only because and this has been proven multiple times, is that she only uses the fandom when she wants something, and it royally irritates me on so many different levels because when she's been asked to come back to the fandom multiple times, she said no. And again, like people can say, that's up to her, blah, blah, blah. And that's fine. Like she can turn around and say no as many times as she wants. But it's only when it's like, hey guys, I used to be in this show called Power Rangers. I was the original Pink Ranger. I have a film project coming out. It would be really super cool if you could help me and donate money. And then as soon as she gets the money, she's like, see ya. And it'll be like years. And she'll be like, hey guys, I've got another film coming out. do you want to help the Pink Ranger? Because that would be so totally cool if you could. And then she just ditched fandom, and it was a constant thing. And the fact is, like, the way that I see it is, she could have been part of the 30th. She could have, because she's writing this comic book, she could have gone back and gone, right, I need more research material. Maybe I'm writing this after the 30th. Maybe I'm writing this as a different, like Kimberly in a different time or something. And I just feel like she only pops up when she wants something, and that irritates me. It's such a negative like way. And then the fact is that when she's been at conventions, she's shat on some fans, not a lot. Like, you know, some people have had good experiences and some people have had bad. And again, each person is different. But the way that I always see this is I just know that she just doesn't like this fandom at all. But, you know, she's never going to get it let down because this was the role that she had. Like, she was given this role. She became this big, massive, popular icon in the day, and no one would know who she is. If she started off with Susie Q or whatever shows that she's been in, probably things would be slightly different. But I feel like when you're in the, you know, you are the lead, you know, Pink Ranger that everybody loves, and then all of a sudden you're thrown into that thing, and then you're shitting on what made you that. It just really winds me up like the wrong way. And I feel like Amy either needs to turn around and say, look, I don't give a shit about the fans because, you know, I don't care, but, you know, I still want to be involved, because I've not really seen her give back. She's not been to Power Morphicon, one of the, if not the biggest Power Ranger conventions, because she doesn't want to. And I don't know what her reasons are. Again, if someone knows, comments or whatever, please let us know. But it's like she'll only go to like smaller cons, or she'll be away from the Power Rangers and do her own thing. And it just really irritates me, because I wanted to go to all the fans and say, hey, I'm here. You've done amazing. Thank you for the support over the years, rather than in your face, dickheads. I'm out. See you later.
Yeah. She really doesn't like Power Rangers. I don't know if it's a past experience she had that was just destroyed it for her. But again, like you said, don't just come around because you want to promote something and then be like, fuck y'all later, because that's crazy to me.
Yeah, exactly. And I just think it's more because she's writing this comic book, and when you read, so when you looked at her Twitter, she's just like, oh, maybe I didn't want to do this, maybe I didn't want to do that to be part of the 30th. And it just feels like she's having a go. And I think it's because of the tweet that I sent her, you know, so is there like saying like, you know, I'm confused on why you didn't say yes, but you never said no type thing. And it's just like, that's fucking confusing. But then when she comes out with a statement saying like, oh, I didn't want this, I didn't want that. And then in a Variety article, she's turning around saying stuff like, well, it's because I was working on the Boom comics and because I have my child to look after. I'm like, those are all good enough reasons you could have stated, rather than be really fucking defensive. Like, it's none of your beeswax. It's like, at the end of the day, fans are going to come along and go, why aren't you in the 30th? The thing that really made you, why aren't you here? Like, it's so kind of frustrating. And then now that she's writing this comic book, which is fine, but when she said like, oh, I've only just started watching Mighty Morphing. So how are you going to take into consideration, or either if you're doing it after, say, around the 30th round now, are you going to take into consideration almost 30 years worth of footage, or are you going to do this just say after you got your powers or just after MMPR, because you've still got quite a lot. And I swear to God, if she gets with Tommy and go like, this is official, I'd be like, fuck off, Amy, you haven't fucking watched the show, fuck you.
I can get behind like the frustration with her being mean to fans, but I don't know, people getting all pissed about her not being in the anniversary. I mean, that's her choice. She's not hurting anybody by doing it. I don't really get the frustration there.
I think it's more that you have this thing that has been around for 30 years, and then just say like, again, like it's completely up to her say no, and again, that's absolutely fine. But then to kind of shit on it a little bit and be like a little bit of poking fun, and it's like, Amy, this started your career. I guarantee if like she had, you know, maybe she hadn't done parents, maybe she could have been a director and stuff like that. But again, that name comes with it. You know, same things like with William Shatner. William Shatner is a big name because he was in Star Trek. Now, if he started much later and didn't do that, would people know of William Shatner? For the 30th for Amy, it's more like give the fans a proper reason why. You don't have to give a fully in-depth thing of like, oh, the pay was too low or they didn't do this. Just say, you know, I couldn't do it because I'm looking after my family or I've got another project on. It's simple enough, but it's just the way that it's more kind of she's either ignoring people or just trying to be the whole I'm going to be really like edgy on Twitter to some degree. But again, I think it's just also her nature. It irritates me. Like
Now, there's more to the comic than meets the eye. I had brought up earlier off camera that there is a 30th anniversary comic collection coming out. I am looking at the Kickstarter now from Boom Studios. At the, let me find it here, tier 6, $600. No, wait. It's tier 7, $800 range. Complete signed set with a box. Angel Grove official jersey colors with some sort of fold out. I'm not sure what the Megazord size things are, but at the bottom it says hardcover books will be signed by Steve, Karen, and Amy. So there might be a connection to this.
Maybe. But the question is, do we care?
To be fair, I don't like this thing with Amy is I feel like if you're going to shun the fandom for almost 30 years, only come back and use us as a piggy bank, why should I buy into this? No, yeah, for reviewing wise, I want to have a look. So yeah, I'll buy the comic because it's not supporting Amy, it's supporting Boom Studios, and I will do that. But if I've got a feeling that Amy's just going to come out with her own comic book series and it'll be something completely different. And I feel like if that happens, I'm like, no, why should I support this? Because at the end of the day, you've treated fans like shit for such a long time. You've treated some fans at conventions like shit, and you're not this big hotshot that that you think you are. So why should I support this? Like, it just doesn't make any sense. But she could change her ways. Like I was talking to Ty about this, and he mentioned like, yeah, she could change her ways, and that would be wholeheartedly great. But I don't want her to change her ways for like 5 minutes, and then as soon as she doesn't see anything from this fandom, that she just disappears, and then like 3 years later, hey guys, I'm the original Pink Ranger. Wouldn't it be so cool if you could just completely and utterly support my next project? I'll love you forever. It's morphing time.
Yeah.
I just I have no love for the woman. Yeah, she was a big part of my childhood, but at the end of the day, I've moved on from it. From her and her attitude at times.
And quite frankly, I'm going to bring up the triplets for this because, quite frankly, I'll take Amy Jo over the triplets bullshit.
True.
It was 10 times as worse. Calling out fans for being X this, X that, just massively trashing them.
I mean, I think there's a difference when it comes to for those two, like all those three compared to Amy. I do get it. I don't like the
one
triplets.
Technically, but
yeah. Well, one of them, I don't condone what they said, and I think it's really shitty how they would try and target everyone because of someone saying that they weren't the OG. But like Amy's just coming in and asked for money again. I just don't like the triplets that much, considering that they used to be my favorite Ranger, with being the Gold Ranger. But with Amy in general, like I just don't like someone who just comes back and uses them. The triplets drama is gone. Like it's faded, but Amy constantly brings this up all the time or whenever she needs something.
And we have truly not seen anything that ties to that yet that I've seen.
Well, again, if we're talking about convention scenes, yeah, that's completely different. But if you just look back at Amy's stuff with when like she's had a project in the past where she's only popped up and then suddenly she's disappeared. Like if you looked at her Twitter, and I mean if you use the Wayback Machine, she only recently, let's say within the last couple of years, has put in the original Pink Ranger. But way before that, she didn't even acknowledge it. There's been stuff with fans where she's not like talked to them because they want a reminder of the Pink Ranger. Again, looking at a project, she would then just come back out of nowhere and then disappear. It's a pattern that we see normally. And then with Amy itself now, it's just so weird that all of a sudden, after all this years of not really wanting to be in Power Rangers, she's suddenly back with a comic book. She's gone to Boom Studios with this idea. She wouldn't be in the 30th, which again could have given her more ideas, more experience. Because at the end of the day, you're working on a Power Rangers project, but you're not going back to what started this. I think there's a little bit of fishiness going on right there. But I just feel like she only comes back for money. And it's so infuriating on it. And again, like, I don't want to support it. And again, but I've seen this going on over years. Is if you look into it, it's there.
Yeah, I really don't know at all. But what I do know. Go ahead. Sorry.
I know nothing about what's going on in her personal life, and I'm like kind of an outsider to the drama, so I don't really have much to add.
And I've heard nothing. Like, Mark brought this to me yesterday when we were talking about it a little bit, and my whole thing is, why wasn't this set apart from like Austin St. John and his crap with the COVID crap? And then we had the triplets and all this and that. Amy Jo was so freaking minor compared to these three that it's like, what? Does the fandom not give a damn to call it out? Or are we just going to sweep it under the rug type attitude?
So I think with the stuff with Austin, again, like, people have called out that he allegedly, or it's still going on with the COVID thing at the moment. We don't know, but people have called it out. People have called Amy out for this. I've done this in the past. Other people have said stuff, but she doesn't acknowledge, or she doesn't do it, or someone will come along and be like, but Amy doesn't have to give you an answer if she doesn't want to. Okay, cool. Yeah, you don't, but you could acknowledge and say, hey, I don't like it. The stuff with the triplets, again, it was all called out over multiple times because the triplets were doing this over like a week or something like that. We constantly called it out. One of my friends, Toy Bounty Hunter, he had Teddy on his stream, and I watched it all, and I got very infuriated because no matter what was said, Teddy just wouldn't turn around and kind of like listen. And then he went off and said, I'm going to go sue everyone who was in that live stream and in that video. And I was one of them. And then it never happened because he backed the fuck down. But we all talked about it. We all wanted to kind of go on about it multiple times. With Amy, she disappears, she comes back, she disappears and comes back. And it's just like, I've not seen her do anything since her last film project, which was the one where it's about a TV star that goes to conventions. It's that sort of thing. And then all of a sudden she's so quiet when she wouldn't come back for another Ranger project because her demands weren't met. And yet I found it really rude for what she was asking. And then when they asked her for a certain thing, she went, no, I'm not doing it. And then just cancelled. And I'm like, the fuck?
And with that whole stuff, we do have to go back to how they were treated back on set with Hasbro and Saban. They were not treated nice. David especially. And I can see why she's back and forth, because it seems like the fandom has been split apart. I have seen this in the fan community multiple times, and it is disgusting, to say the least, to see these people split apart, whether they like certain actors or they hate certain actors. It gets to the point of war almost with some of this stuff. And she's probably testing the waters still. The whole, which I do agree, the way she's doing it is horrible. But you get those toxic fans, especially nowadays. The past 2 years, especially the past 3 months, have been so toxic for any fandom or any area of expertise, politics, anything, have been so toxic. Where do you turn?
I mean, the fact is, the fandom and the people who work on the set are going to be completely different. Yeah, people like the fandom is toxic at times, and they will rip apart everything, or they do it. We've seen it a lot with Simon. As soon as Simon turns around and says something about how much he likes something, someone will try and turn it around on him to make him look like this or make him look like that. But you have to kind of think the fans aren't on set. I guarantee you, if like Amy was like, okay, I'll be in the 30th, and then suddenly she arrives, there's no fans going to be there. And, she'll sit down and go, okay, what's this thing? And then you go, okay, so this is the storyline. This is what's going to happen. This is the script. What do you think? And he goes, oh, I really like that. The fact is, those people that worked on the set have gone. I don't think David would have gone back to the show, to Power Rangers for the 30th, if all of a sudden, the old person that kept calling him names. I mean, look at, even from what I've heard, it's like Steve Cardenas was one of those people that was saying this stuff, allegedly. I'm going to say that in there just in case. But you think that David wouldn't go back? Oh, if Steve did this, or if he was one of the people saying it, I don't think he'd go back. I don't think David would go back. All those people that worked on the show all those years have probably left. They've probably moved on. So when David's gone, okay, yeah, no, this seems exactly right. Okay, I'll come back for it. That's something fine. So that argument of like how they were treated on set or how they were done on thing, I'm not going to say, okay, that's 100% true. I'll say maybe there's some truth behind it, but they would have all moved on. And again, there's a lot more kind of things. If, say, for example, someone started giving David hassle, David could just go, no, I'm now going to take this to my union. I'm now going to take this to the head. I'm going to take this to Simon. And I guarantee they'd probably all be sat down and gone, you're fired. We're not having that on set anymore.
And look what happened with Amy. She got trashed just for saying, well, I'm not doing the 30th. She got trash talked and everything. And finally, she stood up and said something, and she still got trash talked.
But the thing is, like, the two different things. Oh, go on.
I really think she just comes out of the blue and whines. She, to me, is like a crybaby. Like, when the baby wants a bottle, they want to cry. That's how I feel about her every time she make a post about something that she could just did the freaking thing. I mean, the show made her, like you said earlier, the show made her. Why would you not do it? But you want more money in the pocket. You should know how the money range are by now.
The thing is, some people feel they're too big now, or they're embarrassed by it. Look at Camille Hyde. She's on All America, whatever. She doesn't introduce or give props to the show that made her even looked at for that role. You know what I mean? It's kind of like people are just embarrassed of it. I don't know why, but they are. So,
but the fact is, she ain't thinking about us. She thinking about her. So she feel like, I'm gonna cry because I'm gonna do the hell I want to do. That's how I look at her, as a crybaby for Pink Ranger. I said maybe Pink Ranger does suit for her because she cried too much. So, yeah. I got more respect for Catherine than her anyway. So,
yeah, same here. I mean, the whole thing of her whining and stuff like that. I think the main difference between it is if she just turned around and said from day one, like, thing, hey guys, just to let you all guys know, I'm not going to be due to the 30th because I have other projects on at the time and I'm looking after my family. Those are two very reasonable things. And yeah, she probably would have got a little bit of backlash, but it was a lot easier for her to say something like that and say, no, I'm fine. Then later on, poking the bear, going like, oh, maybe I didn't want to wear spandex. Maybe I didn't do this. And then in Variety, she's saying like, oh, it's about, I have other projects that I'm working on. And also I've got my family. It's two different things. One, you're going to be nice to the people that are going to say something. And two, you're not. And these are the things that the fans want to know, because this is a big thing. There's not many like kid franchises that have lasted for 30 years. So you kind of maybe go, well, maybe I should go back, or maybe I should just say I don't want to do this. Again, like we can sit and talk about lots of different things, but I think with Amy, with her actions in the past, have just been completely different. And if she'd been up and honest, I think people would have had more respect rather than, oh, I'm just going to go whine. Because at the end of the day, if Amy turned around and said, hey guys, I've got 5 more comic books, I don't give a shit. Why should I give you my attention after you've like not given any attention to the fandom? And again, people can argue and say, well, she doesn't have to. At the end of the day, people can ask and they can be curious. If you're going to attack her, no, fuck that shit. That shouldn't happen. But if some people are going to push and say, hey, why are you not doing it? And then she's going to be like, oh, stop saying it's about money. Okay, well, give us a proper answer then.
Right.
And everyone has their ways of saying, I don't want to answer in their own way. If they don't want to give an answer, respect it. And that goes a long ways. But people want answers, especially from high-end people, because they're like, yes, give me a damn answer. I want an answer right now. And they will not take no for an answer.
But I mean, if she would have just
Which
simply
goes
said,
back to that crybaby thing. I can see that being a problem. Especially if she's getting so much heat.
But as I said, like you can put down with heat and then you can give a proper answer. Again, her tweet, I don't know if it's still up, but when she turned around and said, was it, I didn't say yes or something like that to what they offered me. That to me shoots out. So it's about money then. They didn't offer you this. Because again, it could have been stuff like she was like, okay, I want $2 million. I want to be, I want to direct the entire thing. I want to write it myself. I want to do this and do that. And it's like, no, we've already got that. I'm not doing it then. I'm not doing it. Go fuck yourself. If she just, again, the thing that she said in her Variety interview was the most sensible thing that I could see that she'd done from these 3 things. I have my family to look after, and I've got this big project that I'm working on. Those 2, and I think the fans would have respected that, rather than be kind of like, well, I didn't say yes to what they offered, but I didn't say no. It's like, you said no. That's what that is. Those are the 2 differences. But again, she worded it differently. Maybe it was done quickly out of spite, like she wanted to get it out there quickly. But again, you can take time to think about this. You don't have to answer every single fan. Just put out a blanket statement, but think about it.
Would it have been better if she just said, no, I just don't want to do it. Like, I'm over it. I don't want to be in Power Rangers anymore. That would have been more acceptable.
She dragged JDF name in.
I mean, people always try to, soften the blow or whatever, so they come up with these reasons. But like I said, that could have been a complete 100% valid reason that she gave us. But I would have just simply said, no, I just don't want to do it anymore. I don't want to be a Ranger anymore.
Yeah. Again, which would have been an easier thing.
Right.
Just say you retired being a Power Ranger or something. Shoot.
Yeah.
I mean, that make it more understandable. Then that way they can find somebody from all the other seasons to join. They could never have an opportunity to be in part of like a special episode like that. I mean, think about it. We got all these seasons of Power Rangers. They can ask any other person to join with them.
Well, that's what they did. So, once and always.
Well, I was just using for prime example though. It could be like hopefully they would do something like that one day. Hopefully.
I mean, we got 17 days until it drops. So, woot. 17 days.
Man. I keep looking at the previews, man. I'm tired looking
so going through the actual, taking all the Amy Jo stuff out, all the drama, all the BS, I'm hoping we get a decent comic. I collect the Power Ranger comics. I really do hope it is a actually good comic and that her writing shows. I'm going to be positive about that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like when it comes to comic book, I do want a decent comic books, and Boom Studios, the guys right now have been knocking out the park. They've been really doing a lot of stuff, and again, like I think the main difference is I don't want it to be like say something like Soul of the Dragon, because that's very JDF had a lot of input, and then that followed the canon of the TV show, or the continuity of the TV show. Sorry. So I'm hoping it's not very like something like that, because you can't really change it. But if it's a whole new like whole thing of like Kim's adventures, I'd be like, do you know what? That's cool. I just hope, for the love of God, she just goes, I stopped being in the Pan Global Games and decided to go into movie production. I'd be like, oh, it's fucking self-insert. God damn it.
Well, we did get the Pink comic, which did continue on from where she left off after leaving. She went to Europe with her mother. Had to get back into a ranger suit because of a new threat, and then passed on those powers. And then, of course, we got the Dear John letter to end it.
I don't care about none of that anymore. I'm over this conversation. Amy, Joe, Candace, whatever. I'm over it.
Amy Fro. There you go.
Last of Us. We're going back to Last of Us. Well, we got the PC drop. Kinda.
Yeah.
Sorta.
Yeah.
So
I just saw clips on
Ooh.
social media of Ellie supposed to be talking, but she was doing like a head spin the entire time.
So I think the reason why I suggest this topic, it wasn't because of The Last of Us in general. It's the whole thing of how game companies now bring up the point of they just release whatever and they don't fully test these games anymore. It's more like, could you imagine if you brought out Tekken and then you like say Nina throws a punch and then suddenly it boots your character way out of the screen into the thing and then crashes your game, and they just didn't test this whatsoever. It's what are your guys' thoughts on games that effectively they're not tested and you guys are effectively paying to be a beta tester?
It goes back to what I've been saying for the production and creation of this podcast. Since COVID hit, these game companies need to get some type of revenue and some money to income. So they just push out projects left and right. Doesn't matter if it's polished, finished, or anything. Get the money they can in their pocket and they say, okay, now we're going to use that money you guys gave us to try to patch this up at a later date, sometimes 6 years down the line or whatever. So that's what's going on. It's just to get money.
Yeah, I think what I generally really hate with all of this now is that game companies are just lazy as fuck. Like, that really irritates me, because I can see the thing where you're talking about Ellie spinning around. But it's like, when you look at this, like, you have a massive game company that should test this to begin with. And the fact is, I was after watching The Last of Us, I was so tempted on buying it and thinking, I'm going to spend like
Oh, we
60
both
quid.
were.
Yeah.
Because we were curious how the story from both series actually, combined and did well. But,
yeah, I think it's one of those things that when I see loads of stuff, like say Ellie spinning around in a circle, it some of it's quite funny, because like, look at Pokemon when they brought out the two new ones, Violet and something. Like, when you look
Scarlet
at all
and
the
Violet.
bugs, Scarlet and Violet. When you looked at all the bugs, like, the only funny one that I thought was that should have stayed in there is that when you're having a Pokemon fight and then a guy or a character would just walk across where you're battling, because I see that happening in real life. But like, all the other bugs just really annoyed me, that you've got these game companies that spend so much money and then just give you shit and then hopefully go like, oh shit, we'll patch this later. So I get very annoyed at it.
Sidebar, is it sad that I still haven't finished Pokemon yet?
No.
Which Pokemon?
The newest one, Scarlet and Violet. I have Violet and I still ain't finished it.
Damn.
I finished it. I
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
haven't gone back to it.
I
Now,
ain't finished Pokemon
I'm
either.
looking through some of the reviews on Steam, because I don't believe Epic has that function. I had some of these problems with Baldur's Gate 3. and that was a game that I absolutely bought because I love D&D and I absolutely love portability. And I could have both thanks to the Steam Deck. But it kept crashing. I had graphical glitches, and I am seeing every bit of that for The Last of Us PC in the reviews, and I've seen videos on it. It's almost unplayable. Like, if we wanted to go back to the PS2 era, we'll go back to the PS2 era.
They released it knowing that they could just like upload patches later and people would still buy the thing.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
the question is, will they?
see, this is the one thing that annoys me. Again, like patches, yeah, they're a thing, but effectively, when you release a base game, at least have it so you don't have Ellie spinning in the corner, because the way that I see it is it just looks like lazy. And this game's been out since what, 2013, and I know obviously porting it to a different to a different thing is completely different. But when you see stuff like when Ty was talking about looking at reviews on Steam, when you and I've been watching videos on this as well. But when you got like a high-end spec PC that you've spent thousands of dollars or pounds on or whatever, and this game crashes and it can't be supported, then you have to kind of go, why am I paying $70 for this game to be playable? Like, why am I doing it just for it to be patched later? Like, I can imagine, say, for example, you're walking in a room and then suddenly it's all closed off and then the infected come rushing in and it's like, shit, there's a bug in the wall system. But then having like Ellie spin, or one that I've just tagged Jarell in, where it's like you're on a horse and Ellie looks like she's like being stretched to high heavens. It's so weird, but you kind of think that you'd at least play test this. And if it's the head of Naughty Dog going, shit, push this out, we need to get it out now. But no, because now I'm very skeptical on buying this because I don't want to waste money on the fact that if I just see shit happening, I'd rather take that 70 quid and go buy something completely different.
I'm sorry, I was just looking at the little clip you sent me.
It's weird, isn't it?
It's like The Exorcist. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Now, Naughty Dog has made good remakes in the past. We have the Spyro trilogy. Oh wait, no, Spyro's not Naughty Dog. The Crash trilogy.
I could watch this all day.
We've had It's About Time, and yet, really, you give us this crap?
I'm sorry, Ty, I wasn't listening.
I think when you got like good games, like you said, like Spyro and stuff like that, I feel like you have to really take time. Like I thought they had done a Spyro remake quite recently.
Oh, Lou 100%ed all three Spyro games. She absolutely loves those games.
Yeah, but I thought they released a Spiral remake quite recently.
Spyro as in the dragon?
Yeah, Spyro the Dragon.
12 hours.
So I thought they had, but again, like, can you imagine if they just like you Spyro running around and then like to get that last gem and it's like you can't get it because there's a bug error and they just never patch it. I think it's just one of those things that I think they need to start really working on it, because at the end of the day, say for example, would you and Lou buy the game and then say if it wasn't that great and they were like, here's Spyro 4 and 5, would you then want to spend say $70 on buying like the next two games, or would you be more like, oh well, you fucked up a remake which shouldn't be fucking hard?
I actually have an example of that, actually. What game was it that I bought recently? I can't think of it off the top of my head. I can't think of what I bought recently. It's been a lot of craziness on my end. But no, I wouldn't, because unless they fix their stuff, there's no way I'm want to play it again.
So I think that's what I'm trying to say on a few things like this, because at the end of the day, why Like, if you can't get a game that's been out, say, from 2013, or a game that's, say, back from like the early 90s or whatnot, like, why should we give these game companies all this money? Because the way that I see it is, I don't think you should.
I mean, if you want something, you pretty much gonna have to pay for it, because it's a great segue about giving people money for things that we want. Kind of the same way we giving money for Twitter and Instagram, now Facebook. Everyone wants a blue check mark. Now we're paying for it. Is it going to improve our quality of life? Absolutely not.
No.
Is it going to help our, online presence for our business? Like, for instance, this podcast. Do we really have to pay for the blue check mark to be seen as desirable or something? Like, what would be the
blue check mark's
benefit?
bullshit.
I think it's status at the end of the day. Like, look at me, I've got a blue check mark. Like, I wanted that, and I was happy for like 2 months paying like £8. But as soon as it jumped up to like 12, I was like, no, I'm not paying for that shit, because I didn't see any beneficial stuff from it. My tweets were probably still saying the same. I wasn't gaining any traction. And when you see stuff like, say, Twitter going like, you can have this, it's coming soon. All right, so why not release it to everyone when all of this is done? I don't know. I don't want to pay for something that I don't get and that I don't have, and then it's staying exactly the same. Because to me, that's just absolute shit.
Yeah, I paid for Twitter Blue subscription. I had it for a few months since it came out. I really didn't see any benefit at all. Yeah, I mean, the Global Nerdz podcast has been doing pretty well. Slight flex, you know what I mean? We've been hitting 1.3 million streams and stuff like that for the past few months. So I mean, we've been doing pretty well without a blue check mark. But I don't know.
Suck it, Elon.
I don't know, because when you look at the numbers and the streams, so that the math ain't mathing. You know what I mean? Because we don't have a lot of engagement on Twitter, but we have a lot of engagement on Facebook and Instagram. We upload a video on YouTube, it's not really that many views. But then you combine everything, it's a lot of streams, from Spotify to Apple. But Anchor doesn't really get a lot of streams. Amazon Prime doesn't really get a lot of streams. But Google and something called Stitcher, iHeartRadio Podcast, and Tidal, those get a lot of streams. So it's kind of like, where do we put our effort for analytics? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because collectively, it's good. If we're hitting on one platform, Facebook or whatever, it's like 1.3 million people are engaging with it and seeing it and participating and interacting. That's fine. But I don't want to pay $15 now to say, oh, now we're going to just shadow ban you guys if you don't give us $15. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I absolutely hate that sort of stuff, because it's the same thing as I feel like, if, say, for example, let's say you have 1 million followers on Twitter, and then suddenly like only 3 people are seeing it. It's like, where's that engagement? And then it's sort of like, well, if you pay $15, you'll get that engagement. It's like, but shouldn't I have that already because I have 1 million people following me? I feel like these companies, they have the power to completely drop everything and then be like, well, you have to pay. And I feel like some people will do that because they want to be seen, but it comes at a price. I don't want to have to pay for that. I should be reaching those 1 million people that that are following me. They should at least see it, rather than buried in a tweet and then it's something like pointless popping up. So I don't know if it's just for status, and it's just like, well, you may get it, because at the end of the day, even if you pay $8, $15, $20, $30, whatever, the company can still go, shadow ban. Oh, we don't know why you're not getting this. Maybe pay us more money.
Exactly. And that's what I just don't want to happen. It seems like it's going to happen anyway. So it's kind of like subscription-based things are taking over our lives, you guys. So
exactly. I think with the way money's going at the moment, would you rather eat or have someone argue on Twitter with you for a blue check mark?
Yeah, we're not going to go down that Twitch route.
Yeah.
Why would anybody even want to be on Twitter anymore other than business reasons? That site is literally the devil's armpit.
It's so much fun arguing with random people. I love it.
Maybe for him, but the only reason I have Twitter is to keep up with people, and that's why I have a Facebook to keep up with family.
Same.
I can care less about all the stupid political BS that is going on between the two. It's not worth having a blue check mark to argue with people.
Mhm.
I will agree that it's good for certain stuff because as you were saying, like, it's good to keep you up for business. Like, there's one thing that I've just seen that I'm kind of tempted on, and it's I think it's an official mint or something, but it's of the Power Ranger coin, and I'm like, that's pretty dope. To be fair, that's something that I would wholeheartedly, even a Superman one. I'm not a big Superman fan, but I'm generally liking some of the stuff, and I know these things are going to be fucking expensive as shit, but at the end of the day, like, just seeing that on Twitter that someone's just posted, I'm like, do you know what? I kind of like that.
Yeah. Subscription is taking over the world. Everything's going to have a subscription at this point.
Want to breathe?
Yeah.
But how long is that going to last, though? I mean, the streaming experiment is failing pretty much. Even Crunchyroll, they're getting outed for just basically monopolizing the whole anime industry. And it's getting more and more expensive with the economy the way it is. Less and less people are going to be able to afford that. The subscription experiment's on borrowed time at this point, I think.
Well, you do know Crunchy just got bought out by Funimation, one of the worst anime companies ever, right?
Yeah.
It was, and then
That'll
they're
do
owned
it.
by Sony now.
That'll do it. Yep.
I think a lot of people wise up after a while because, let's say, for example, My Hero Academia. It's like, if you want to watch season 1, you have to watch it on Crunchyroll. But then if you want to watch season 2, then it's over on Funimation. But if you want to watch season 3, 4, and 5, then you have to go on Hulu. And then it's
we had that, me and Darrell. I'm like, yeah, I'm watching Spy Family, and I'm watching these nice subtitles. Darrell goes, oh, I'm watching it in English.
Right.
You son of a... And with season 2 coming out...
I think it's more as like when you start spreading it. There used to be an app or a streaming service. I can't remember what the name was. And what that did was it said, like, you can get, you pay $15 a month or something, and it's all in one area. So, effectively, I think it gave out like a mini subscription to all the other places, but you had it all in one place. And I feel like when you come up to, say, streaming and stuff like that, people get really fatigued. Oh, I have to buy HBO Max. Now I have to buy Funimation. Now I have to buy Crunchyroll. Now I have to get Hulu. And you just go, why am I spending so much money? And then people just go, fuck it, I'll just get Crunchyroll and that's it. I don't care if season 1 or 2 is not up there. I'll just do this. And I feel like that's what some people do after a while. Just go, I'll cancel everything else because there's no point on it.
Yeah, I hate it.
It drives me nuts as well.
It's literally, okay, cut cable because it's cheaper to do streaming. I'm paying more in streaming services than I was for cable. Like, I'm paying for literally Paramount Plus, AMC Plus. I have Showtime.
Oh, man.
I have Disney Plus. I have HBO Max. I have Crunchyroll. I have Apple TV Plus. I have Peacock.
Oh, man.
BET Plus. That's already 9 fucking things. I'm paying like $300 a month for this shit. Plus Twitter subscription that I just canceled. And now, like, I'm had to get Facebook and Instagram subscriptions as well. That is crazy.
You could count the number of those you could keep for quality on one
hand.
hand.
And I forgot Apple Music. And I forgot Amazon Prime. I forgot paying for that shit too. And Netflix. I forgot about that one too.
So you do that. I would pay for artist subscriptions.
Same. Patreon all the way.
Which definitely subscribe to the Global Nerdz Patreon.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're eventually gonna put an episode up. And some tier subscription stuff. Shit, who knows? Maybe April 12th could be an exclusive for y'all since y'all gonna want to know.
Nice. But are you going to cut down on all these subscriptions? God damn, that's quite a lot.
Yeah.
It is, but I mean, I don't know how because Xbox Game Pass,
Piracy.
PlayStation Plus, I've got those as well. At this point, I don't know what I'm gonna do because it's kind of I want to support these content creators. You know, I like watching these shows. I want to keep supporting them. But damn, as a collective, y'all charging us, and then the price is going up. It's $6.99 for Disney Plus. You know what? $10.99 for Disney Plus. You know what? Because y'all paying $12.99 for Disney Plus. Like, come on! Everybody's raising their prices. I'm paying $16 just for HBO Max now. That was something for what?
Disney
$10.
Plus is jumping their prices.
Exactly. Everyone is jumping up, and it's freaking
There's
annoying.
no ads.
Oh, and Hulu. How did I forget? I'm paying for Hulu too.
Hulu's not bad.
I think
It is when you add it to my stack of things that I'm already paying for.
You want my advice, bro? You have HBO Max, right?
Yes.
Keep that, keep Crunchyroll, keep Disney Plus, maybe keep Hulu, get rid of everything else. That's what I would do if I were you.
No Netflix? How am I going to watch Once and Always?
I would subscribe for when Once and Always comes out. When you're done with it, out of there. That's what I do.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, the way that I always see it is, if you're going to just cut them all down, like if you watch, like, say, 10 shows on Netflix, keep Netflix. If you're going to watch, say, one show on Hulu, and you can easily watch it somewhere else, just turn around and go, all right, I'm going to get rid of that. I think there's always the same, like, that's what I started doing, and I was just like, I can't be bothered with so much of this stuff anymore. I was like, I need to get rid of it. And it works. Like, I think the only streaming services that I have is, like, say, Crunchyroll.
Disney Plus is a good one because they have all the Disney shows that I love. The Mandalorian, for sure, is like top tier, god level entertainment for me.
Gargoyles, Chippendale Rescue Rangers.
Yeah. So that sort of stuff, 100% keep, because you're watching a lot of stuff on there. So, maybe when you get to the point, you go, okay, well, now I'm not going to watch all these because I don't like them. That probably works out maybe sometimes better, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh no, this is the streaming life. Like I said, we have to subscribe for social medias, subscribe for TV shows and music now. We have to subscribe for our cars, our internet. I mean, and then maybe we got to subscribe to eat. You know what I mean? You only can sit in McDonald's for 13 minutes, and it's $13 per minute. Like, what?
Some places do that, actually. Cafes.
If they
Lord Jesus.
I don't know, man. If they find a way to pirate cars someday, I'd be down for that.
They do. We already have subscription base for your cars. Like, literally.
Especially those Teslas.
Yeah, any other car.
Pirate that
You know
shit.
what I mean? Like, to use the app to accompany your car so you can lock your car, start your car, so that you have to pay a subscription. It's like $100 or $300 a year with Kia at this point. Thank God I have a Ford at this moment, so I don't pay for it. Ford, please do not make us pay for the app. That's been free. You know what I mean? Don't make us pay for that shit. But yes, it's subscription based. To listen to Sirius radio in your car is a subscription base. To have Wi-Fi in your car is subscription base. Like you said with Tesla, if you want to go a little bit faster, you got to pay us some extra money. Like, damn. But yeah.
I'm not advocating piracy, but I'm not advocating it either.
Yeah. Always respect and buy stuff normally.
When you can, when it's ethical.
Yeah. Unless you want to watch the new King Oger Sentai, there's no way for us to watch it, so you have to pirate it, which is crazy.
Yeah, like that always, to be fair, that always baffles me more than anything. It's like, why would you, like, there's a huge, massive demand for Sentai, as well as like Kamen Rider or any Toko stuff, and yet no one at Toei is taking advantage of that. Baffles.
They could easily hire a whole bunch of people to do voice acting for dubs. Like, I don't understand.
Give it to Crunchyroll. As much people would hate it, at least then you'd have someone coming along and going, okay, cool, we're dubbing this, or we're sorting this out. You drive more people to that in a heartbeat. But yet all these companies don't even bother, and I'm just like, do you not like money? Like, do you fucking hate money? Because I think everybody fucking loves money. So
yeah, for Sentai, I think it was like a behind the scenes thing why they never did the dub, because it was Power Rangers, a direct adaptation for it. So it's kind of like probably legality reasons why they couldn't just do it here due to contracts. But shit, Power Rangers is done for. Once Cosmic Fury once and always hits, it's done for. There's a new contract drawn up. So maybe then can, like you said, Crunchyroll can bring out the Sentai but dubbed versions of it.
yeah,
So
that's it. That's if they give up the rights and stuff like that.
right.
If they do, happy days. If they don't, fucking what are you doing, Hasbro? Give someone else a chance to show this stuff. It just doesn't make sense. Or the series that you're not going to adapt, give that to the people and say, fuck it, there you go, guys, have it.
All right.
God damn all these companies.
I know. But you know what's going to always be free for you guys? The Global Nerdz Podcast. We are not going to make you guys pay a subscription for that, because
no,
you already have
on Patreon.
Right, that'd be the only one. But you know what? Spotify. You do need a Spotify account to kind of listen to us. Oh well, I guess you are paying to listen to us. Never mind. But yeah. Looks like we reached the end of our episode today with these great, amazing topics that was kind of randomly placed, but they was kind of collectively put together, like the video game section. We missing a topic. I haven't seen the movie yet, but John Wick Chapter 4. Chris is here. He still got the cooties.
Yeah, man. I, as a sick man myself, still coming here for this podcast with you guys is always great. Brings a lot of health to this sick man's heart.
Well, keep your virtual cooties over there. We don't need it.
Yeah.
But anywho, on that note, fellas, it's been great. And we're going to see you guys next week on another episode of Global Nerdz Podcast.
Catch you nerds on the other side of the globe.
See you soon.
Later.